Hi everybody, I'm Stephen Levine from NASCAR Illustrated here at Stewart-Haas Racing with Tony Gibson, crew chief of the number 10. Let's talk a little bit about the 2013 season. I guess the basic question is, were your expectations met?
Absolutely. Without a doubt, I don't even have to think about it. Absolutely. Did we want to do better? Yes. Everybody does. But she did everything that I expected and more. There was racetracks that I never dreamed that we would even be competitive at, and we'd even try to stay on the lead lap at, and she was unbelievable. To go and sit on a pole and lead laps, running the top 20, have some top 15 runs, top 10 run, I'm extremely happy with what we have gained and what we have learned and how we have gotten better as a race team. Danica included in a race team as far as communication. You know, the communication was probably the biggest thing that I worried about coming into this deal, because coming from IndyCar,
It's all computer feedback.
It's all computer
Right.
feedback. It's quite a bit different than the old school style of things that we do. Coming out of a nationwide car for 1 year, which is 100 less horsepower, we have a heavier car, more aggressive driving style from the drivers that we're racing against. I was real nervous, but throughout the year, watching her make gains and watching her improve and get better, mentally, she is leaps and bounds ahead of where we were at the beginning of the season.
You know, it's interesting. You mentioned, obviously, the success at Daytona to start the season. What's so interesting to me, though, is her performance at Martinsville, which is a very challenging track that some veterans struggle at.
Right.
What is it about her driving style in Martinsville that you think worked?
I think the biggest thing that worked is she's patient. At those types of racetrack, your on throttle, your braking has to be so precise, not for 1 lap, but for 500, that I think her equipment, she saves her equipment, she doesn't wear the brakes out, she's easy back to the gas, she's easy off the gas. The things that she does, which I think comes from the IndyCar series, of just her precise movements and things that she does in the car, I think that applied to Martinsville more so, because you see more guys go there and just kill the brakes and just abuse their car, and they have nothing left halfway through the race, to where that's when she's the best. You know, the first 100 laps, we don't ever qualify there good with her, but we don't qualify good anywhere, so we always start behind. But she goes to Martinsville right there, we got a lap down both races, made a lap up, and at the end of the day finished on the lead lap, and inside the 17th, it was 17th the second race and 12th the first race. It's like, how did she do this?
Right.
So we go back and look at her data from the EFI data. We can see the difference in her driving style versus Newman's or Stewart's or whoever, and some of the Hendrick guys that were like, well, that's why right there. Instead of her brakes being burnt out halfway through the race, she still has 3/4 of her brakes left. And look how easy she is on and off the throttle.
Right.
I mean, she's easier on the tires, easier on the brakes, which is easier on the whole car.
Yeah.
So I think that's why she's successful there.
So what's the next step? What's 2014? What are your goals, or the next lessons to be learned, or the next steps to take?
The things that we're going to work on, and we sat down with her, what are some of the goals that we need to work on, and Mark Martin will be a huge part of helping this happen, is working on our qualifying. You know, in today's world, you can't qualify outside the top 30 and have a good day, because it'll take you all day to get to where you need to be. So our goals is to be a solid top 25 qualifier. If you can qualify in the top 25 and you can get some restarts, you be inside the top 20 in a matter of 30 laps, if not quicker. Restarts are another part of our program that we need to work on. We're going to work on some transmission ratios and some things that we can do to help her feel more comfortable restarting, because if you don't make your gains in the first 5 or 6 laps, they get strung out and they get aero dependent, and you're pretty much stuck where you're at. So these guys get pretty aggressive on restarts, 3 and 4 and 5 wide sometimes. Those are some things that I don't think come natural to her, because that's just not where she comes from. I think we have to work on that on the car side too, making it more comfortable to fire off early in a run, whether it's air pressure or a shock adjustment or a wedge adjustment or something that we have to do to help her feel more confident to be aggressive. You see that hole, get in it, go. So those are some of the things we're going to work on.
Excellent. Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing how it all pans out in the 2014 season. Tony Gibson here at Stewart-Haas Racing.